What's up, YouTube? I just wanted to come on here real quick to give my opinion about this whole Twiztid and Blaze situation, getting arrested for cannabis. By the way, I call it cannabis. I don't call it marijuana because of the whole racial situation involved with getting it made illegal in the first place. If you don't know about that, Google that shit, because that shit will shock your eyelids. I'm recording this shit in the morning, gotta have my Monster. If you've never had this orange Monster before, you should try it, it's delicious. Anyway, back to the subject. Get on topic about the whole Twiztid and Blaze shit. The whole situation, it basically boils down to this. The whole thing is bullshit. And Florida is one of the worst states in the union when it comes to horrible charges involved with the harmless drug cannabis. This whole thing is bullshit, and the whole situation is perpetuated by ignorance and capitalism, which brings me to my either-or proposition of the day. If you believe that cannabis should not be legal, you're either A, ignorant, because ignorance is spread through false propaganda, such as the belief that cannabis smoking kills brain cells. It doesn't. Or that it makes you lazy or unmotivated, or is a gateway drug, which all of that is total bullshit. There's been so much false information spread about cannabis, and people are waking up in record numbers. It will be legalized in no time at this rate, because people are finally realizing that the government lied to us about this for reasons. Everyone has a different idea or speculation about why we were lied to about cannabis, but a lot of people now at least believe that it should be legalized for medicinal use. You know, it's a start. Personally, I believe that the government has no right whatsoever to legislate our own bodies, but, you know, we'll get there eventually. Medicinal use is a good start. You know, people who are suffering and can get some relief by smoking it, like cancer patients that need it to stimulate their appetites after chemo, that's a start. Or people who are suffering from insomnia or muscle spasms. You know, most decent people can agree that these people should be able to use it if it helps them as medicine. Or B, you're part of the system that is profiting from it being illegal. Whether you're of the pharmaceutical industry, or you're a drug dealer, or you're a police officer who probably would not have a job if it wasn't for this unjust law, or part of the court systems who rake in billions of dollars a year by crowding the court system with all of these petty cases. If you're part of the system, you probably don't want it legalized, because then you might be out of the job. You've yet to come to the conclusion that you are not contributing to society, you are making a living based off of a bullshit law. So anyway, back to Twiztid and Blaze. The allegations is that they were smoking up in their tour bus after the show, which they say is not true, but let's just say it is true. I can honestly not think of very many things that the police should be less worried about than an artist strolling through town in their tour bus smoking weed. I'm sure there were lots of other things happening at the same time in Tampa, rapes, attempted murders, burglaries, you know, whatever, that the police should have been more worried about. I'll give you 3 reasons why the police shouldn't have even been concerned about this. Allegedly, they weren't selling it, they were just smoking it. Number 2, they probably didn't even buy it in Florida, allegedly. And number 3, they weren't driving under the influence at all. That's why they have tour buses with people who drive for a living. They weren't driving under the influence. I can't think of... I mean, who cares if a musical artist wants to get high after a show? Who are they hurting by doing this? Now, when TMZ posted the mugshots of Jamie Madrox, Monoxide, and Blaze, everyone on Facebook and elsewhere was making a big deal over their appearances. Specifically how old Blaze and Monoxide look. I mean, come on, these guys are closer to 40 than 30, and it was just after a show where they just washed off their face paint. Yeah, they're gonna look a little beat up. But the real thing that everyone was making a big deal about was Jamie's appearance. How skinny he looked and frazzled and whatever. People were speculating that he was either sick or is on some kind of drug like crack or meth or something like that. A lot of juggalos are spreading rumors at this point that Jamie has leukemia or AIDS or whatever, but Jamie happens to be on a very low calorie diet for reasons, whatever his reason was. He decided to lose a whole bunch of weight, and Monoxide has even gone on to Twitter and made it very clear that he's not sick. So it's getting to the point now where juggalos are gossiping way too much. Y'all are like a bunch of little schoolgirls, the way you gossip about shit. You know, unless you know something for a fact, don't go around spreading it. I'm sure that if something was seriously wrong with Jamie, they would tell you about it. And being the capitalists and the opportunists that psychopathic are, they'd probably take advantage of that shit. They would probably have like a big benefit show for Jamie or whatever and try to make money off of it. Ultimately, this whole situation is just going to bring about more publicity for Psychopathic and for Twiztid and Blaze, so I don't really see it as a big deal. So here's my conclusion. The police should not be concerned about the actions of a musician in their own tour bus, because there's no good reason for harassing musicians that are strolling through town. Even from a financial standpoint, if you don't believe in legalization and you think that, you know, going after these musicians will be good for the economy, it's not, because all you're doing is deterring musicians from playing in your town anyway, and concerts bring about money for the town because people come from out of town and they spend money in your city, and that's how the economy works. So it doesn't make sense from any standpoint for the police to do this. Secondly, this isn't the first time they've been in trouble with the law, and probably won't be the last. So why make a big deal out of this? They're out of jail now. The situation will be taken care of. And lastly, I personally believe that if you're spreading bullshit rumors about Jamie's health, then you have no right to call yourself fam. But that's just my opinion. Everyone check out the article that I have linked underneath. It's to my top psychopathic albums, in my opinion. Let me know what you think. Peace out. Whoop whoop.